It's Daybreak on Arise News. Time for the press preview. A first look at what's on the front pages as they arrive. We begin with this day. The Queen is dead. Aged 96, Buhari world leaders and paid tribute to the Queen of all seasons. And long live King Charles III. The new monarch says death of Queen is a moment of great sadness for him and the family.
Well, the Punch looks like all the papers have the same story. Queen Elizabeth dead at 96, world leaders paid tributes, Britain mourns, Charles becomes king, then just on the top mast there, Pengasm threatens 30-day shutdown. Nigeria risks 1.37 trillion naira loss. PDP pacifies South with BOT chair. Ayu stays. And military will tackle security challenges, Buhari assures Nigerians.
The Guardian Nigeria, similar headlines here. The Queen dies, long live the King. Read the big story on pages 4 and 5. And just below that, PDP, Ayu survives as NEC passes confidence vote. Wike, defiant. And just above that, one more headline, DSS raids Mamu's residence and office in Kaduna.
The Nation newspaper, PDP crisis, Ayu not Jibrin should resign. That's according to Wike, the governor in River State. Charles is King of England as world leaders mourn Queen Elizabeth II.
Interesting picture of the Queen on Independent. Let's look at Independent. Just the Queen herself in that picture, I guess, when she started her reign, 1926 to 2022.
Yes. And the Daily Express, our beloved Queen is dead. And for the press preview, let's bring in Emmanuel Bello. Good morning, Emmanuel. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'd say we begin as usual with this day, but all the pages, all the front pages of the dailies, international papers have the same story. Queen Elizabeth II passed yesterday, as Buckingham Palace announced. What are some of your comments about that?
Well, good morning, Nkechi. Good morning, guys. Well, it's the morning after, and I think, again, the tributes are pouring in. And for most of us here also in the Commonwealth, we have that affinity with the monarchy in our own special way. We got our independence practically handed over to us. So the passion that our newspapers are showing is also understandable because you have it on all the pages. So just like you have it in the foreign papers, I think everyone has a story, if not the leading story of the day about Her Majesty the Queen's passage. And it's huge because, I mean, this means a lot to everyone. It doesn't matter how old you are, but you are talking about one of the longest reign in the history of monarchies. And so the history of it, the glamour of it and everything, it cannot just be missed. And I think that is what everyone is celebrating. It is so much of the story of the Queen passage, but it's also the story of a new era, a new beginning altogether with King Charles III. So, and if you put them together, it's such an interesting story. And there's so much in Kechi, so many angles to the story, the life and times of the Queen herself, the crisis she has to weather all the 70 years on the throne, the Prime Minister she has to deal with. That's another special account on its own, because no one has seen the number of prime minister that she's seen who's dealt with her. Even the current one, who actually had a show with her before her passage. But we saw that picture of her going to greet the Queen. I mean, I'm talking of Liz Truss, and she had the honors and historic, duty to also announce the new king. So everything is historical. The life and times of the Queen herself, and all that has happened since then. Everything is just glamorous and just history. So I'm not shocked that the papers are scampering to get just an angle, and every angle is interesting, whether it is the pictures that you have on the pages of the foreign papers, those for the pictures and the stories that they tell of the Queen herself, her personality, her person, and a lot of tributes. And even what some of the prime ministers had to say about those meetings, those weekly meetings they're going to do with the Queen, and also an understanding. So especially for the young generation, this will bring back a whole lot of things, the nature of that monarchy, the relationship between the king and the prime minister, or the queen and the prime minister, and the general thing around it. So many things to cover there, but it's the morning after, and a lot of people are already looking at what kind of a king Charles will be. Will he be same of the old, or is he going to chart a new course for himself? But I think those are the kind of conversations that are going to go on. And like India asked Dan earlier, what would change in the monarchy? But today, everybody is reflecting on the various historic aspects of the Queen herself.
Switching gears quickly, Emmanuel, on the front page of the Nation newspaper, PDP crisis, Ayu, not Jibrin, should resign. That's according to Governor Nyesom of Rivers State. The BOT chair stepped down, and he's saying, that's not the man I want. I want that fish on the table.
That's right. Yes, Kenneth, I'm, away from what's globally being reported, the Queen, we're back to reality, the reality of the Nigerian situation itself. And of course, doesn't get bigger than what was happening yesterday at the NEC meeting of the PDP, where all sorts of dramas happened. There were change of buttons and all that. But Wike still holding his ground and saying, like you say, that's not the fish I'm looking for in this sacrifice. I want the big one. I want the shark himself. He wants Ayu out of the way. And so even when Daybreak, who is the BOT chairman, resigned, he said, no, that's not what I want. I think he's still very, very positive, or very confident that, look, the PDP will be able to find its way, meander its way around these situations, and get some kind of solution, some kind of closure to all the problem. But yesterday, that closure did not happen, because Wike said, look, this is not the kind of outcome I was asking for, or the kind of results I want. I want Ayu to step down. Jibril stepping down won't change anything. But Ayu himself, so full of, very confident too that, look, a PDP can do this, can pull it off. Tambuwal himself reducing the whole crisis to what he calls a family affair. He says it's just a family discomfort, something that PDP will be able to go around and deal with in a matter of days ahead of it. But of course, it's a race against time, because they need to set up a presidential council and actually join the rest of the other parties, especially the ruling party, as they go toe-to-toe, head-to-head in the contest ahead.
Well, watch out as things play out. Two stories on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Military will tackle security challenges. Buhari assures Nigerians this is coming in the face of the victories that the security agencies seem to be enjoying lately. Then Pengasan threatens a 30-day shutdown. Nigeria risks 1.37 trillion loss. Again, I'll just add, I hope not.
Well, the Pengas is made that threat already, so we're going to see how they do that. But of course, it's telling you the effect too of what's going to happen if that kind of a situation happens, the loss, and in terms of money, and in terms of also our livelihood. And the general crisis around the oil sector. Remember, Pengasin is saying that, look, they are worried that the government has not been able to tackle the problem of oil theft. That is the reason why they are going on this. That, look, they can't understand that with all the presence of the Navy, they came short of actually accusing the military of colluding with the thieves. But that's what Pengasin is saying. They say they can't understand how, with all that monitoring, all that supervision, all that surveillance around those areas, that you still have those monumental theft. They think something is wrong, and they think that this is not about government anymore. So they want to take their demands to the street and to do some strike actions and all of that. But tied to that too is the issue of security, and it's a very interesting story. Anytime there's a story on security, of course, we need to take it very seriously. The success is being recorded in that sector, and the efforts being made. Remember that the president has given those marching orders and said that by December, that's the deadline now. By December, we should be done with all those crises. How realistic is that benchmark? How realistic are those demands? I mean, that kind of projection. Well, it's the presidential election era, and the president will have to say something about his legacy. And I think for him, this is also about legacy, dealing with it. One area that he has been accused so strongly that he's not done much, the area of security. So I think this is the kind of tough measures being taken to see whether there can be some kind of understanding or closure to the problem of security.
Emmanuel, moving away from security to health issues, monkeypox has been rearing its head and it's been in the conversation, and now the Punch is reporting that Nigeria's monkeypox death toll is the highest in Africa. We're not done with COVID and monkeypox is already spreading around.
Well, you see, that's also the larger commentary is that is the kind of crisis around the issue of nipping things in the bud that we don't do here. We are not proactive enough. When monkeypox started, some people even made some kind of joke out of it and say, what was that again? But now, see, the death tolls are coming in and it's showing clearly that we've not gotten around it. And before you know what's happening, we have another epidemic on our hands. So that's the crisis of the health sector itself. The fact that a report recently showed that a lot of doctors have even left the country to seek greener pastures elsewhere. So it doesn't matter. Never matters what sectors you are looking at. You have a situation where strong leadership is lacking, and we've not seen much of that. So that's the big picture, and of course the crisis itself of the monkeypox epidemic. It's sad that we're reporting that we're worse hit on the continent.
Mighty Emmanuel Bello. That's a press preview. Let's hear your view on all the burning issues. Follow us on Twitter at Arise TV. You can join today's conversation using the hashtag AriseDaybreak.